Hey everyone, Blaze here, welcome back to another anime collection overview video. Today we're going to be taking a look at my Superpowers, like Tokusatsu inspired, Super Sentai inspired anime. So yeah, anything that's based on like comic book type heroes, in basically in simple terms, is in this section. So let's start, shall we? So we have, first up we got a 009 RE Cyborg. This is like the reboot film that Production IG made a few years back. It's actually directed by, I never remember the guy's name, like Kenji Kamiyama or something, isn't it? That is exactly what it is, wow. I actually do remember. But yeah, he's like the director of Standalone Complex and stuff, Ghost in the Shell stuff. I really like this film. I know certain fans of the series aren't necessarily the biggest fans of it, and you know it does have like a Deus Ex Machina type ending and things, but I don't know, I really enjoyed this movie. It was my first introduction to the Cyborg 009 franchise, at least in terms of watching something from it. I knew of the franchise, I just hadn't seen any of it before this. And I really like this film. The CG animation is really nice in my opinion. I kind of like the redesigns of the characters. And yeah, it's basically been my gateway anime into this franchise. I absolutely love it now. I've watched like the Netflix series that's currently on Netflix, believe it or not, called Call of Justice, which is actually technically a sequel to this. So I really hope that ends up coming out on home video at some point, hopefully from Funimation, and hopefully with a slipcover. Although, believe it or not, folks, apparently Funimation are phasing out slipcovers, so it will make things easier to buy second hand, but because you don't have to worry about it coming with a slipcover or not. But yeah, that really is a shame. So anyway, Cyborg 009 is really cool. I've seen a ton. Well, I've seen Cyborg 009 Call of Justice, Cyborg 009 versus Devilman, which is also on Netflix, which is kind of cool. I'm really looking forward to like the Netflix series. Sorry, I've already said that. The Discotheque release of the 2001 series. I'm really looking forward to now. Anyway, moving on. Next up we got 8 Man After. This one's really it's kind of interesting because it's not very good. I'm going to put that out there first. I didn't necessarily enjoy this one overly much. It's a 4-episode OVA from like the early 90s. Maybe the first episode came out in like 1989 or something. But yeah, it's got a Streamline Pictures dub on it, and this is the first time it's been available in English with the full 4 episodes uncut. The streamlined version was like a edited down to a movie, and there was a previous DVD release by Image Entertainment or something, I think, but that was just the dubbed version only. So yeah, this is the first time it's been available uncut, and it comes with like a nice slip cover and stuff with if I just quickly do this, a nice image underneath it. But yeah, 8 Man After is kind of this curious thing where, you know how a lot of us, especially those of us who grew up on like 80s and 90s pop culture type media, like stuff like Transformers and like Power Rangers and things, and how a lot of the time we like, as and when our adults were like, oh, can you please make remake these, but make them like mature and gritty and take them seriously, and basically make them to appease to our now adult interests, as opposed to, you know, the cookie cutter children's shows that they once were. And they kind of like, Hollywood tries to do stuff like that, and have tried to do stuff like that with like, especially with the Power Rangers reboot film, which I actually didn't like very much at all. But it's just an interesting thing, because that's basically what this is. Because 8 Man, the original series, is from the 60s, and it was a kids show, black and white superhero policeman type show. In fact, it was fully dubbed in English, I think, and I think you can even buy it on DVD in English. I know you can buy it on like Laserdisc and stuff, but I think it got a DVD release as well. But yeah, like I said, it's a cookie cutter like 60s superhero show. But obviously the kids that were watching that back in the day, by the time this OVA came about, and by the time the OVA industry started booming in Japan, the kids that watched 8 Man were now in like their mid-20s and early 30s, so they basically went, okay, here is your favourite superhero from when you were children, but now he's like this, like in this much more mature dystopian cyberpunk type setting, and like it's all gritty with grime and crime, and I can rhyme. But yeah, yeah, it's just kind of interesting in that regard. Like it is one of those sort of scenarios come to life, but way before you might think. So yeah, I now need to put the slipcover back on, which I will do later because that will take forever to do with one hand. So okay, moving on. Next up we have a Cell World. There's a set 1, and then we also have set 2, 26 episode series or something from Viz Media. This is basically it's from the same light novel artist, or at least the original story is from the same light novel artist, or I guess writer if it's a light novel. Author. Yeah, from the same person that made Sword Art Online, and which is why like a Cell World and Sword Art Online have these crossovers, because made by the same person. I liked a Cell World. I thought it was fun. It's just kind of like, but it was a bit throwaway for me. It was just a fun throwaway action series. It's one of the early versions of a very popular genre now, which is, hey, I'm stuck in a video game, sort of. A Cell World kind of actually like blends reality and the virtual world together, unlike, you know, Sword Art Online or something where they literally are in the game, and same for things like Log Horizon and stuff. A Cell World actually blends the two. It's kind of interesting. I think the game is called like Brain Burst or something. It'll probably be there on the back somewhere. But yeah, it was a pretty fun show, nothing too crazy. I do like the suit designs quite a lot, but my favourite part of this show is the fact that the main character looks like this. He's like this little chibi little dude, and it's just kind of cool to have a main lead to a show, especially a male lead. Like, you might have seen this with a female character every now and then that looks, you know, at sort of not the complete standard template cutout that you get with a lot of anime characters. Like, he looks really different, and it's kind of fun, and it's the one part of this show that I really did appreciate. It was kind of cool to see a character that just looked different as opposed to what you normally expect in an anime. But yeah, the show itself, nothing necessary to write home about. It was fun, it's fine, there's not really much more than that. Next we have Birdie the Mighty. This is the original OVA from 1996, I believe. So this is the first 2 episodes with, unfortunately, the saw mark in the side. It's kind of annoying because that was from the bankrupt stock. But then we've got the second part of the OVA, so episodes 3 and 4, The Final Force. And this one doesn't have the bankrupt stock. This is a pretty rare DVD. I'm kind of lucky to have it. It still cost me quite a bit when I bought it, actually, about $25. But yeah, it can certainly go for more than that. Or at least the general asking price is more than that. I imagine its value on the actual market is probably about $25 for people that really want it. But anyway, yeah, this is a kind of a fun OVA, like a gender bender thing. Basically, this Birdie here is a space cop, and she's chasing down some alien fiend that happens to have landed on Earth. And in the process of trying to chase down this alien, she ends up killing this innocent bystander, like this teenager, and in order to basically keep him alive, she ends up kind of morphing into him, and so now they're kind of one entity, one person, and every single time that... So yeah, the kid goes about his normal life, sort of, but obviously whenever Birdie needs to do her job, he'll morph into Birdie, and it's kind of strange like that. And obviously they're both in the mind at the same time, and it's just a bit of a fun gender bender, like action comedy. It's actually directed by Yoshiaki Kawajiri, who I'm pretty sure I say his name wrong every single time, but he is my favourite, or one of my favourite directors. Director of Ninja Scroll there, as you can see, Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust, Cyber City, Wicked City. Like, he's just fantastic. And yeah, this is one of his much more approachable directional things, you could say, but it's fun. I liked it. Next to that we have the 2009, I think, reboot type thing, Birdie the Mighty Decode. This is a full 26 episode series based on the franchise. I've actually not watched this yet. I've owned this for years. I've not got around to it. I'm glad I have it though, because these are now long out of print, as is the complete collection as well. I think even the Save Edition, because assuming it even got one, because Funimation no longer hold the license, because this is an Aniplex series. So yeah, but I'm really should watch that. Been meaning to for a long time. Okay, next to that we have Black Rock Shooter. This is the 8-episode series from like 2011, I think, or something. This is the Australian Siren visual release. It also did come out in the UK, and it does actually have a Blu Ray release in Japan with English subtitles, but weirdly enough, despite the fact that Black Rock Shooter was actually really popular for a while, it never came out in America. The TV series or the OVA, it never came out in America in any form. And like I said, the Japanese releases have English support via subtitles, but yeah, for some reason it never came out in America, which is weird. I didn't really like the OVA very much. I really enjoyed the animation, but I thought the story was just kind of meh. Like, it just didn't really interest me that much. But I ended up buying this kind of on the cheap. I think it cost me less than £10. So I hope to watch it eventually. It's a shame it's only on DVD, but I'd be interested in it. Again, it's only 8 episodes, so it's not too long. So yeah, I'd like to try it out. But again, I wasn't a huge fan of the OVA, so I'm not necessarily expecting to like this much more. Especially since it probably has... Yeah, the animation quality is probably not quite as good because they've had to stretch it across 8 episodes rather than one 45-minute OVA. Okay, so next to that we have Blast Writer, which is a fucking awesome series. At least in my mind, it's still really, really awesome. It's probably not quite as awesome as my mind has now kind of imagined it to be. I do remember really liking it. It's basically it's set in like this weird like future Germany, hence the Blast Writer kind of thing. And it's this super weird thing where there's like this disease going around, but it's like cybernetic kind of. So it like when you get infected by it, you turn into like these cybernetic like monster being things. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, yeah, so like robotic flesh type stuff, and it's kind of cool. And there's this like main character who's got this stupid name. Where is the name of the main character here on the back? Can I see it? There it is. Can you see it? Joseph Jobson. It's a fucking terrible main character name, but yeah, Joseph Jobson ends up also getting this disease, but he has like some weird like, I can't remember, like some weird immunity to it or something. He like sort of melds with his motorcycle and ends up like cutting down these monsters and stuff. And I don't know, I just remember it just looking really cool. The animation was cool, the story was pretty cool. It's a pretty cool series. Probably not amazing, but it's pretty cool, and I really like these releases. I have the first part here, and then I also have the second part with the really nice artwork on it and stuff. And yeah, I just really like the designs of the show. I really need to rewatch it. I wish it came out on Blu-ray. It got a Blu-ray in Japan, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't an upscale, so it would have been nice to have got on the Blu-ray, but we never did. Anyway, so yeah, I have the first 2 parts. I ended up buying the complete collection on the cheap, just in case I ever wanted to save space, but I've found it impossible to part with the original 2-part releases because I like them too much. So now I've ended up actually making more. Blast Writer now takes up even more space on my shelf since I own it twice for no reason whatsoever. Anyway, yeah, Blast Writer, I recommend checking that out. At least check out the trailer or something. It was really cool, and I'm pretty sure the Save Edition can be bought dirt cheap nowadays. So next to that we have Blood Blockade Battlefront. This is one I picked up just recently, and I talked about it just recently, so I won't go too in depth. I've not watched it yet. I watched the first 2 episodes when it came out. It looks like a really cool like Superpowers slash like aliens sort of thing, and yeah, set in some like futuristic city. I don't think it's on Earth, but maybe it was, I can't quite remember. But anyway, yeah, I watched the first 2 episodes, thought it was really cool. I watched them while they aired, and I thought that it was really cool, but I wanted to wait for the dub. I now have the dub, but obviously there's also a season 2, and it's not too long till season 2 comes out, so I'm going to wait until I get season 2 and then I'll watch both of them. Hope to really enjoy this series. I don't see why I wouldn't, because the first 2 episodes were really good anyway. Like, I enjoyed them when they were on, so I expect to fully enjoy it when I watch the whole thing. Anyway, next to that we have the Book of Bantora. Oh my god, what a missed opportunity this show is. I used to have these on DVD, and I watched the DVDs, and I really, really wanted to love this show, but I just couldn't quite bring myself to do so. but when I had the opportunity to buy the Blu-ray super cheap, in fact I ended up buying the Blu-ray for less than what I sold the DVDs for. Such was the bargain I got on this. So it was an investment worth making to get the show in HD in its true presentation. And oh god, like the Book of Bantora has got like the coolest freaking plot. So basically, it's set in this world where when you die, you turn into a book, and then you're sent to this library, and these are like librarians that protect the library, because obviously, yeah, when you die, you turn into a book, and everything in that book is everything you ever did, everything you ever knew, all your secrets, everything. So they're extremely valuable to people, especially obviously when certain people die in this world. Those books become extremely valuable to people, like the knowledge in them and stuff. So, and the protection of the knowledge of what might be in them and things like that. So yeah, and this series is about these librarians that protect the library full of these books, and they protect the books, and they have all that magic powers and stuff, and they protect it from like these underground organizations and like these mafia-esque type church organizations that want to get a hold of some of these books. And yeah, it sounds super cool, and in many ways it kind of is. Like, it's produced by David Productions, who obviously made JoJo, or at least the current adaptation of JoJo. So it's got really nice animation, but something about it, the same way that JoJo's Bizarre Adventure sort of has this kind of like stilted early, I don't know about you guys, but like the Phantom Blood arc is the first arc in it, in JoJo. It had like this weird stiltedness to it. Like there was something kind of, I don't know, I can't really describe it. It was just something about the first, I love JoJo, but there's like the first season of it or something, the first 9 episodes or so, it just had this weird pacing. I think the whole, you can go into Battle Tendency with that as well. Like JoJo just has this kind of weird pacing for that first season. I think the Book of Bantora also suffers from the same problem, and yeah, it's just kind of strange. But I really want to give this show another chance. I really in my mind, this is one of the best shows ever because its plot is so fucking cool to me, and like I would love to see someone else take a punt at a story like this, because I just think it's such a cool idea. I'm sure it's not a unique idea in fiction. I wouldn't be surprised if someone else has done something similar, but this is the first exposure I've ever had to this as a plot device, and I think it's super cool. So I would really like to watch the Book of Bantora again relatively soon. I'm going to take a quick break because my mouth is as dry as freaking the Sahara right now, so I'll be back in a minute. Okay, that should be better, I hope. Do you guys ever get that when you film videos and your mouth just, you immediately start like needing to clear your throat and your mouth just goes dry? I hate it. Still don't know if it's much better, but we'll continue. Anyway, so next up we have Kashan. This is the complete original, I think it's 1973 series, like 35 episodes, and it's on Blu-ray. This is part of the Sentai Filmworks Tatsunoko Productions deal that they announced a million years ago, and I don't know if they ever actually got to 10 titles. They said they were going to put out 10 titles as part of the deal, and yeah, I don't think they ever actually managed to do that, unfortunately. But yeah, I think the problem was this, I don't think sold very well, and this was like the first thing other than Gatchaman that they put out on Blu-ray as like a complete series, and I don't think it did very well, so I think it kind of put them off wanting to go too experimental with it. I think it's a shame, because I bet if they put this out now, like as a brand new thing, I bet it would do a lot better, like given how Discotek have kind of changed the industry. But anyway, I've not watched the series yet. I really should have done. I bought it basically when it came out. I've been meaning to watch it for a long time. I like all the other stuff for this franchise, so I really need to get to it. The Blu-ray for this is pretty good, honestly, but it is very grainy. It was shot on 16mm, and they haven't done a lot to remaster or restore it, so there's lots of scratches on it, and it's a pretty soft image, but it's I don't know, it's pretty good. Like I still prefer it over what they did to like Mobile Suit Gundam 79, where that was also a show. It was like a little bit newer. It came out like 5 years later or something. But you know, that was also shot on 16mm, and they DNR'd it to hell. So, and I don't like the look of it at all. But yeah, Kashan is the other end of that, where it's like, okay, here it is on 16mm with no remastering done to it at all, and this is what you get. And yeah, I feel like there's a middle ground somewhere where you can get a much better picture out of that source. But anyway, whatever, Kashan. Hope to watch it eventually, be meaning to. Next time we have the UK release of Kashan Robot Hunter. This is the 4-episode OVA from the early 90s, I think 1992 or something. Yeah, I like this. I thought it was fine. When I first watched this, actually the only time I've ever watched this, it was like 12 o'clock, like midnight to about 1:30 in the morning, so I was sort of like a bit half dazed or whatever, but I don't know, I remember enjoying it. I'd like to watch it again, especially since the reason I have the UK version is because it comes with a commentary by Jonathan Clements on the dub cut. So yeah, so there's like a feature film edit, as you can see there. I don't know if it was done by Streamline, I wouldn't be surprised if it was. But yeah, that was like a film version of the 4 episodes, and yeah, that actually has a commentary which isn't on the Discotek release or the ADV Films release either. So yeah, and this obviously also contains on the second disc the original Japanese 4 episode version. So yeah, I'd like to get the Discotek release just for the package art, and then maybe take the commentary disc out of here and just put it inside that set. I actually almost did that last year, but there's actually a Blu Ray release, or at least a HD version. I don't know if there's actually a Blu Ray in Japan or not, but I know there's a HD transfer of the 4 episodes out there, and I wouldn't be surprised if at some point Discotek potentially put that out on Blu Ray. So I figured I'd wait and see if that happens instead. So yeah, Kashan Robot Hunter, it was pretty good. The best part of Kashan though is Kashan Sins Part 1, and then we have Kashan Sins Part 2, and these beautiful sets that Funimation put out. These are just obviously standard Part 1 and 2 sets, but they have matte finish slipcovers with beautiful artwork, especially on this part. And in the show, there's like this disease going around in the world that is basically rusting out robots. It's called ruin. So rusted, or rust. I can't even say that properly. I'm not sure, because it's not a word, but it's like rusting out all of the mechanical beings in the world, and it's called ruin. And I love how they've basically started to rust out the slipcover. I just think it's super cool that they did that. As you can see, it looks really nice, and as I said, like matte finish. And yeah, I really like the show. It's got a great soundtrack, a really deep emotional story. This is not an action series. This is a journey of a character who's being blamed for basically the world's end, and he's trying to make do, and he's trying to just find his purpose or whatever, and what happened and things. And yeah, it's pretty dire and pretty tragic and stuff, a lot of the stuff in this, but it's really interesting and a really, really good series, and like I said, a really, really good soundtrack. It's really good. I highly recommend it. These are obviously long out of print now, but I think you can still get a save edition, maybe. But either way, you should track down the show and watch it. It's incredible. Speaking of incredible shows, next to that we have the Daichi's Earth Defense Family across 3 volumes. This is from 2001. It's a 13-episode series, and it's absolutely wonderful. So, yeah, the Daichi's Earth Defense Family is basically this parody of like Super Sentai type hero shows, taking down like these space invaders coming to destroy Earth. But the bit that makes this show so fun is, and so clever and interesting and way above just traditional family action show, is the fact that the core characters, the core family at its center is well, basically they're on like the verge of collapse. Like in the first couple of minutes of like episode 1, the mother asks the father, so we've got the mother here and here's the father, and the mother basically is asking the father over the breakfast table for a divorce. And it basically sets the tone. Like the teenage daughter is on the verge of a mental breakdown. The son is just, you know, really I can't think of the right term, but he like, you know, he's sort of aggressive and a little bit like he's just trying to make the best of it all, really, kind of thing. But the best part, like, so basically, you got this like they've been charged, or I can't even think of the right words right now. They've been entrusted with saving the Earth. They get given these suits. They get told that these aliens are going to come and destroy the Earth. They pretty much, you know, ignore it, but then by the end of the first episode it becomes apparent that that's exactly what's going to happen, so we better wear these suits. But obviously the family's on the verge of complete breakdown, so it like plays off all these family dynamics, and it's kind of like, will to save this family they basically have to save the world. Like, by saving the world, will they come together, and like will they become to like trust each other again and things like that. And it's super interesting, and like it's much like the ending isn't necessarily what you expect it's going to be. And some of the journeys they go on the like the character development and the development of the situation with the family goes in ways that you probably wouldn't expect. And it's just really, really good, really, really clever, and just a wonderful hidden gem that I imagine most people have barely even heard of, and even if you have, you probably just dismissed it. I know that originally when I first started getting into anime and collecting volumes at a really crazy rate, I pretty much dismissed it, but I ended up going back to it. It always stuck in my mind because I was like, what the hell is this show? The Daichi's Earth Defense Family, like, what is this thing? So I ended up going back, checking it out, and absolutely falling in love with it. It's a wonderful show, and I'm very happy to own it. And I hope one day it gets a re-release. It's also like one of the last ever Cell animated series, so the animation is absolutely sublime. When I say it's like one of the last Cell animated series, like I really mean it. Like it was like one of the last 10 shows ever made using that format and or that version of production, and it's absolutely wonderful. Like the animation is crazy. Like their power up animations for their suits is just incredible. Like the show is amazing, and I highly recommend it. Okay, so following on from there, we have Darker Than Black. So obviously, you know, I have Season 1 in the Premium Edition up there on Blu Ray. Well, this is Season 2 in the Limited Edition, the Gemini of the Meteor. I actually liked this season. I know most people didn't. It certainly changed a lot of things, but I don't know, I enjoyed it. I liked the new character that was introduced, and I kind of like the downtrodden version of this guy who I've forgotten the freaking name. I think it begins with H, but I can't quite remember. But anyway, yeah, like the main character from the last series, who obviously is still pretty much a main character in this series. I don't know, I just kind of liked the show. It was fun. There's actually a 4-episode OVA included on this, which is like a prelude to Season 2 that kind of like connects Season 1 and Season 2 together. I've never watched it though for some reason. I've kind of like put myself off from watching it. In the meantime, I guess, since watching Season 2, because I figured, well, once I get around to watching Season 1 again, I can then watch the 4 episodes for the first time and then go into Season 2 again. So that's kind of the idea. But anyway, I also have in here a recent pickup, completely pointless, but I did it sort of because it kind of bugged me that this was taking up so much space on the shelf without having, because obviously this would normally be a filler box, but I picked up the original DVD re-release complete collection of Darker Than Black Season 1. So I have both seasons in there. I got this really cheap. This DVD is really expensive, or has been for like a couple of years, but I got it really cheap. It was being sold by a charity on eBay America, and they obviously didn't know what they had, unfortunately, given they're a charity, but there you go. I think it was like $20, so that was cool. So I was able to complete that collection, which just put my mind at ease, and it's, I guess, nice to have the DVDs as well. But it kind of bugged me that this was taking up so much space without actually having both seasons in it. So then there was no way to get any smaller compact release of Season 2 because it was out of print. So I decided to get the Season 1 set if I could. I wasn't exactly going out my way to do it, but I ended up finding it on the cheap, so I went for it. I was never going to pay the crazy prices that it sometimes goes for. But yeah, Dark and Black is cool. I liked Season 2, I thought it was alright. Next up we have Dakoida, the complete collection. I watched this one earlier this year. Comedy, parody of kind of like all basically Tokusatsu, Super Sentai type superhero shows. This one parodies Ultraman, more than anything else, as you can kind of see there. And yeah, it's a fun show. This guy ends up getting these powers, like the powers of Dakoida, and he ends up having to join like this space galaxy patrol to take down villains and stuff that all also have like their own like superpowers and stuff. And he ends up basically living in this apartment complex. Like, he gets given a place to live by the people he works for now, and a lot of the tenants of this complex are the villains, but obviously they don't recognise each other because they're not in their suits. So yeah, comedy hijinks ensues. It's a fun series. So yeah, Dakoida. Next to that we have Gare Zero, or Gare Zero. This was in my supernatural superpowers section until recently, but I don't know. Wait a minute, that's literally the section we're on, superpowers. This was in my supernatural and horror section recently, but I've decided to put it in here. It's kind of like a mix of both, really, but yeah, I decided to put it here because they kind of do have like superpowery type stuff, I guess. I don't know. The main reason I kind of put it here, I guess, is because Tokyo Espa, or Tokyo ESP, not a sequel to this, but a series made by created by the same original author, would go into this section, and so I just kind of decided to put this here as well. It's missing the slipcover. I'd love to buy this again and get the slipcover so I can have both art on it. I have but it would cost me like almost the same price it cost me to buy this version, which is kind of a bummer. Which is kind of why I haven't done it, because I can't find anyone that's willing to just sell me the slipcover on the cheap or something. So yeah, I really love this series. It has like probably the best first episode any anime's ever had. Just on the sense that, yeah, when you watch a first episode of an anime, you want it to basically push you into watching the rest. Now, I would like to think that 99% of people that ever watched the first episode of Gare Zero went on to watch episode 2, because holy crap, episode 1 is insane. Everything you think is happening isn't happening. Everything you think you're being set up for isn't what you're being set up for. It's got an amazing turn of events. So yeah, Gare Zero episode 1 is amazing, and the rest of the show is also pretty amazing. There's a couple of weird fan servicey parts that kind of just don't fit. They're very small and insignificant really, but they are a little bit jarring. But yeah, the rest of the show is really, really good. I love the story to this one. It's just a wonderful series. It's definitely something I want to watch again. I used to have the limited edition, but I got this Blu Ray complete set, and I was hoping to get the slipcover with it, but it didn't come with it, so I'm gonna have to track down that slipcover series set version, whatever, at some point, because yeah, I want it with the slipcover because it has different artwork on it. So next up we have Garo, the animation. Garo. I freaking love this show, holy crap. So yeah, when I picked these up, I was talking about it in extremely huge anticipation. I'd watched episode 1 and absolutely loved it, so I was like very excited to get into actually watching the series and hopefully the rest of the franchise. Well, I've watched season 1, both parts make season 1. I've watched it, and yeah, it lived up to the hype. Holy crap, this show is amazing. So it's set in like this medieval fantasy Europe sort of thing. But obviously the characters have these suits. They're Garo knights, and they take down like these demons and stuff. So they turn into these like lion type metal freaking badass looking suits. And it's got like a mix of CG animation and normal 2D. And it's just a really good story, really great action, amazing characters. There's just nothing that in the show that they're like not to like, basically. Like the whole show is just absolutely fantastic, apart from maybe the ending. I was probably going to give the show a 10 out of 10. I really did enjoy it that much. The ending though was incredibly anime, cliche, over the top ending, and it just sort of, I don't know, those endings just don't work on me anymore, because I expect them more than not. So when I get them, I'm kind of like, yeah, this is just whatever, really. Like I know what road we're going down. It looks nice animation wise, but it kills all my, I don't know, anticipation and investment, because I just kind of know what's going to happen. I suppose you can kind of guess the ending to a lot of series, and it wasn't necessarily that I knew the ending as such, but it was just I'd been down this road before many times with other anime, this sort of over-the-top crazy action ending, and I didn't dislike it, it's just, it didn't surprise me, and it kind of just, I don't know, I deflated a little bit, which is unfortunate. But regardless, I love the fucking show, and I want to see the rest of the franchise. Obviously, the rest of the franchise isn't necessarily a direct sequel to this, apart from there is a movie, which actually is a direct sequel to this, which I think is out now, or is about to come out. So I might buy that one sooner, rather than later, and then I'll move on to Crimson Moon and like The Vanishing, which are the other 2 seasons. But yeah, I absolutely loved Garo, the animation. It is a wonderful, wonderful show, and it comes very highly recommended. I think it's amazing. Okay, next up we have my Gatchaman section. So we have the complete 1972, I think it's 1972, Gatchaman series. So we've got all 105 episodes plus the 90s OVA across 14 discs. So yeah, this is basically everything that was on the original ADV DVD releases. You get all the commentaries, all the extras, all the behind the scenes stuff, and all that. It's really nice, and it comes in this comes in this nice Alex Ross designed slipcase. Not as nice, obviously, as all the chipboard art boxes I used to have that all had different art from Alex Ross, but I don't know, it looks nice. I think they chose a nice wraparound design for it. And a lot of the Alex Ross artwork is carried over onto the disc art and stuff, so that's nice. Yeah, it's a really, really crazy release, this, and you can get it super cheap sometimes, and then honestly it comes highly recommended at the prices that I've seen this set go for. You can get this sometimes for as little as $50, if not even less if you're lucky. And yeah, you're getting 105 episodes of pristine HD 1970s superpower, Super Sentai type action. Yeah, it's super cool and highly recommended. I've only watched 28 episodes of it. I hope to eventually go back and finish it. Yeah, and like I said, this comes with the OVA from the 90s, like the OVA reboot from the 90s that was, oh, I can't remember his freaking name now. It'll be on here. Just quickly. Yeah, Yasumi Miyametsu. We'll see that set I just used to remember that in a minute. But yeah, Yasumi Miyametsu is another one of my favourite directors, I guess. More character designers. Some of his directorial work is fine, but his character design stuff is amazing. Yeah, anyways, he did the OVA. It got a redub to go with the original cast of the ADV version, but I ended up buying the original DVD release from Urban Vision, which has the original dub on it. So yeah, anyway, next up we have Gatchaman the movie, which also got a new dub to go with, well, a dub to go with the TV series. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they carried the cast over, which is cool. This is like an original story with original animation and stuff, so it's not like just a re-edit of some of the stuff from this, from what I understand anyway, because that's what I thought it was going to be, but apparently not. So anyway, then we have Season 2, Gatchaman 2 on DVD. This is all 52 episodes. This is subtitled only. They didn't bring back the dub cast for this. I'm not surprised, honestly. Disappointed maybe, but not surprised. Yeah, this actually does have a Blu-ray release now in Japan. When these were released, there was no Blu-ray in Japan, but yeah, Gatchaman 2 is now getting a Blu-ray release. I don't think it has it yet, but it will be getting one. I've not watched this yet, hope to eventually, of course. And then finally we have Gatchaman Fighter, which I assume will probably get a Blu-ray release in Japan at some point, but not yet. This is all 48 episodes that completes the original run of Gatchaman. So yeah, there's basically 205 episodes plus a movie plus a 3-episode OVA from the 90s that pretty much covers the original Gatchaman stuff. And then I've got the first season of Gatchaman Crowds, which is like a reboot, like a modern reboot. Lots of change in this, but it's fun. I enjoyed it. I still need to get Season 2. They're actually releasing a complete Season 1 and 2 box set soon, but yeah, I still only have Season 1. Been meaning to get Season 2 for a long time. I like this show. I watched it, I think I watched it while it was airing, actually, strangely enough, and yeah, I liked it. It was fun. Okay, next up we have Guyver Bio Boosted Armor. These are the original 2 8-part OVA, so we've got the first six episodes, and then the second 6 episodes. I think they started in like 1989 or something, around that time, and ran into the mid-90s. Honestly, I had a huge hype for Guyver, but it just didn't live up to it. I thought it was just kind of boring, honestly, really plain, which is strange given like the really awesome design of the suit, and especially how the suit like melds into the person and stuff. Like there's a lot of dark twisted animation and stuff in this, but I don't know, it just didn't, nothing about it really got my attention. It never hooked me in any way. I think these DVDs are dub only, which probably didn't help. Oh no, English and Japanese language. Okay, did I watch it with the dub? Maybe that was the problem. I seem to recall the dub is terrible for this. Absolutely awful. Maybe I didn't watch it with the dub, but then by the time I switched it over to the Japanese, I was already starting to lose interest, maybe. I don't know, I've only watched this, so I've still not seen the second half of the OVA. Maybe that's a lot better. It certainly looks better on that design. But yeah, I really like the designs for this. I really hope to enjoy it more. There is actually an OVA that came out before these. It's never been available officially in English, but there's like a 50-minute movie from like 1986 or something called Gatchaman Out of Control, I think, but I doubt that will ever get a release. I've been meaning to watch it. It's got fan subs. Anyway, and then we've got the 2005, I think, reboot, or 2006, Guyver by Boosted Armor again. This is on Blu Ray. I think it's an upscale, but I don't know. I've got slight damage to the box, unfortunately. But yeah, this is a whole 26 episode series. I imagine this will be better. I wouldn't always say that just because it's more modern, but I just imagine the pacing and maybe I don't know. I think this might be better than this. This just didn't really catch me in any way, hook me in any way. Okay, moving on. Next up we have Hamatora, season 1, and Ari Hamatora. I've not watched this yet. It's basically about these group of teenagers that all have these kind of like Esper type psychic superpower type stuff, and they all meet at this cafe and basically solve local mysteries or something to that degree. I'm sure there's a bit more than that, but yeah, as you see, there's no case they can't handle, so yeah, they go around solving cases and mysteries in their local area. Yeah, I don't know, it sounded cool. They got a dub and everything, so that's cool. Kamisama Dolls. This is a cool show, actually, or at least it's a good show. I remember enjoying it. It's basically about these families, I think, that control or can control throughout their history, like these god doll things, and they use them to fight each other and stuff. And yeah, maybe there's like demons and stuff. I can't quite remember. I know there's like, as you can see there, but when he discovers a bloody corpse. So yeah, there's like, it's it's a bit darker in tone than the front cover might have you believe. But I don't know, I remember enjoying it. Maybe not the most amazing thing ever, but I remember liking it, so that's that. Anyway, next up we have Kaze, the Prophecy, or at least that's one of the OVAs is called The Prophecy. Yeah, The Prophecy and the Revelation. Still sealed. I bought this a while ago now, and I just never opened it because I haven't watched it yet, and I wasn't sure if I was ever going to keep it. I think I actually have tried to sell this in the past, but I wasn't able to because, you know, it's not the most desirable set out there. But you know, even though it's brand new and sealed, you know, you've still got to find someone who wants to buy it. So, but yeah, Kaze. I might end up watching this though soon, because as you can see from the front cover, I never really thought about it before until recently, but as you can see from the front cover, the series is kind of like Garo, from what I understand. And yeah, it's only a 4-episode OVA. I wouldn't mind checking it out. It was meant to come out on Blu Ray in the UK once upon a time, but it never did. But yeah, I won't open it until I'm definitely going to watch it, obviously, because it's always going to be slightly more valuable when it's still brand new and sealed. But yeah, I might check that out at some point. If anyone's watched it and really liked it, I'd like to know about it. Because yeah, I've heard some good things about it, but I don't know. Anyway, next up we have Kaze no Stigma. That's not a signature, it's just some stupid thing that was on the case. Yeah, so this is Volume 1. This is a cool series about, again, these two ancient well, not really ancient, but you know, two long-standing families in Japan that have superpowers. One controls wind, the other family controls fire, and they're normally enemies, kind of each other, at least rivals of each other. But this series is about them kind of having to come together to take down like some greater evil and stuff. And the two heirs to the, I'll just call it heirs to the throne because I can't think of the right freaking term right now. So yeah, heirs to the throne of their families, if you will. Him and her there. Him for wind, her for fire. They have to come together and take down this greater evil, I believe. I can't quite remember. I remember liking it. It's sort of a bit throwaway, but it's nothing about it that's bad. It's just, you know, not amazing. So yeah, Kaze no Stigma. If it's ever taken your fancy, I don't think there's anything in it that should stop you from wanting to watch it. So yeah, if they're taking your fancy, give it a try. Anyway, next up we have Lock the Superman. This is a 80s film, which actually has a dub on it, which I didn't know till recently. But yeah, it actually does have a dub. An old dub, I assume, nothing that Discotheque would have done. But yeah, basically just traditional type superhero stuff, I think. Like maybe an alien type superhero. Yeah, intergalactic wars. So yeah, I don't really know too much about this one. I know there's like another like OVA series from like the early 2000s and maybe a film from the 90s as well or something. But yeah, this is the only thing that's ever come out in English. And yeah, I hope to watch it eventually. Been meaning to for a long time. I like the cover on this with the painted artwork and stuff. It looks nice. The logo's a bit weird, but I assume it's the proper logo. So yeah, Lock the Superman. Don't know too much about it. Hope to watch it eventually. There's another one that I hope to watch eventually and don't know a lot about. The World of Mirage Blaze, or I think it's just called Mirage Blaze. So I didn't buy this just because of my namesake, but I certainly do remember it because of it. So because it does have my name in the title, although spelled differently. Yeah, again, I think this is about like clan members that can control certain like psychic powers and demons and shit. You can kind of read the synopsis there on the back. It sounds cool. It's got shonen ai tendencies, as you might be able to see by the early 2000s like shonen ai character designs. I don't know, but yeah, all 13 episodes plus I think a 4-episode OVA series. Does it say on the back how long it is? Don't think so. Can't see it. If it's there, then you can see it, I guess. But yeah, anyway, not watched it yet. Hope to eventually. Here's a cool one. Obviously this has just gone out of print. You might have seen on Right Stuff that it was a top seller of the week as a bunch of people buy it before it goes out of print and becomes unavailable and goes up in price. But yeah, Night Raid 1931. This is a really cool series. I really like this one. It's sort of a strange one, but it's just super interesting in that way. So yeah, set in 1931. You might not be too surprised to learn. And it's about this kind of like espionage type group of characters that all have X-Men type superpowers, and it's all set in Shanghai, around, not just in Shanghai, but basically in China, around like the Manchurian incident and stuff. And if you know anything about that, then yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's just a weird setting for an anime, and it's got dub and everything, and it's just a really cool story. I really like this one. Just something different and special, in the sense that yeah, it's really unique. Like even for anime, like this is something that's just kind of cool. I really like the idea of setting superhero and characters with superpowers, but you know, in a time period that isn't modern day, like in 1930s China. It's kind of cool. So yeah, Night Raid 1931. I highly recommend this one, and obviously, as I said, it's going out of print. So if it's ever taken your fancy, it's got 14 episodes. So yeah, 12 episodes plus 2 OVAs, I guess. So yeah, if it's ever taken your fancy, you should definitely go and pick this up sooner rather than later. It's worth it. So yeah, that's Night Raid 1931. And finally for this shelf, on this incredibly long video, but we still have a little chunk to go over there, we have number 6, the complete collection. I like this show, but I can barely remember what it's about. It's got shonen ai tendencies, I do remember that. There is a homosexual relationship at the centre, although it's not a explicit homosexual relationship or anything, if that's going to be a problem for anyone. But yeah, I really liked it. I really like the two main characters as well. Yeah, it's sort of set in like this weird like dystopian future where there's like this really poor side and really rich side, I think, and there's like this civil war going on, and I don't really remember. I remember enjoying it. That's kind of it, and I remember there's like superpowers type stuff at its center for like the characters. I think this character in particular has some sort of powers. Can't remember if he does as well. Yeah, I know. I really liked it, so I would highly recommend it in that regard. Well, maybe not highly recommend it. I don't really remember, but I did. All I can think is positive things for it. I remember liking it. So let's move on. Sometimes, I'm just not really going to remember things because it's been so bloody long since I watched some of them, and I've seen a lot of stuff. Like if you're a first-time viewer to my channel, or like an early viewer to my channel, I've seen like over 1,000 anime entries. That's not 1,000 TV series or anything. It's closer to 500 TV series. But yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff. It's hard to remember everything about certain shows. Anyway, moving on, we've got this last little batch here before this is the Ladyverse stuff we'll talk about another time. So we have the Aniplex of America release of Read or Die. If you recall, a while ago I said about how I owned the original Gatchaman DVD sets. Well, when I sold those, this is what I ended up buying in return, because I'd already bought the Blu Ray set to replace the Gatchaman DVDs, so when I sold the DVDs, this is what I invested that money in. So yeah, but weirdly enough, stupidly enough, after spending all that money on this, I've still not watched it. I've seen the original 3-episode OVA for Read or Die, but I've still not watched the TV series. Yeah, so basically like, the series is about like these librarians that kind of have like these superpower type stuff, and they're able to like use paper and change its properties in order to make them into like weapons and stuff. At least that's what I remember from the OVA. There's probably more to it than that, and it's like the British Library, although it's kind of a loose term in that regard, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, moving on, because I don't really remember a lot about Read or Die from what the OVA, and I said I'm not seeing the TV series. I know a lot of people really like it. I've just meaning to get around to it, just not done so yet. Here we have the first half of Samurai Flamenco, which is basically, at least it's what I assumed in the past anyway, but this is basically your standard Tokusatsu Super Sentai type show, just in anime form. So this is basically just like a Super Sentai or Kamen Rider type series, but it's just mainly Super Sentai really. But it's just an anime version. But my good friend of mine, Rocco Itachi, ended up actually watching this show all the way through, both parts, and he ended up telling me that there's a lot more to it actually. It goes kind of crazy, so yeah, I'm curious about it for sure. I still need to get Box 2. This actually never came out in America. It was licensed by Aniplex of America, but they never put it out. Great stuff, Aniplex. Thanks for holding shows at ransom and never actually releasing them. It's really kind of you. Great business practice. But anyway, yeah, it came out in Australia on DVD, but in the UK we actually got a Blu Ray. I still need to get part 2. I really should have done it. It was a bad seller, unfortunately. But yeah, I really need to get part 2. The problem was I got this so cheap. I got this for like £6 or £7. So I've kind of been waiting to get season 2 for the same sort of price or close to it. Maybe not quite that low, but almost half the price of what it's currently going for if I can get away with it. So I've been kind of waiting for that to happen, but it hasn't happened yet. Okay, next to that we have a really great series. I pretty much finished watching this show around this time last year, and it was amazing. We got Shingu, Shingu, Secret of the Stellar Wars. God, how do I describe this show in order to convey just how fantastic it is? That's going to be difficult. So it's set in like this seaside town in Japan, and there's basically this secret going on in this town where there are these families that basically protect the town from like these alien invaders, although well, kinda, and they use like this I don't know if it's on the back. You can kind of see it on the back there, like the robot-y type thing on the back. That is kind of like a spiritual, like guardian of the town that is controlled by some of the families, and the youngest members of the families, or the chosen ones of the families, kind of control it. But there's also these characters that, like, this new family ends up moving into the seaside town, and like they've got these insane type superpowers, like almost Superman-esque superpowers and stuff. And I don't know, there's just this vibe this show has. It's so laid back and fun, and it's all about, yeah, there's nothing, like, yes, there's this galactic war going on, but all the characters and all, like, the quote unquote aliens and stuff in it are like these, they're like realistic people, realistic characters. Like, they have, you know, proper emotions and proper thoughts. They're not just like, oh, we must destroy everything, or, you know, we're the nasty big bad guy invaders and want to kill everyone, or anything like that. Like, there's so much more going on to it, and it's sort of like all about like this diplomatic stuff that's going on as they like talk to each other. And I can't, honestly, I can't really describe it. All I can say is it's a show that you really need to watch. Like, I can't really, I kind of want to compare it to Cowboy Bebop in a way, even though it's not really anything like Cowboy Bebop. There's just something about the way it treats its characters. I'm doing a terrible job at describing this show. All I can say is it's really wonderful. I gave it a 9 out of 10. It's got a wonderful soundtrack and just a wonderful story, wonderful atmosphere, so relaxing, so calming, so fun. It's just amazing. It's an absolutely amazing show. It is a superpower action type series, but it treats itself in such a normal and calm, and I don't know, something about it is really special. It really, really got me, and it's a show that I will always remember in a very, very positive light, and I hope to eventually, I don't know, I hope to definitely watch it again sooner rather than later. I really, really like this show, and I know I did a terrible job of explaining why, but there you go. Shingu's Secret of Stellar Wars. Check out a trailer. It's highly recommended. Oh, another thing actually about Shingu, just quickly, is it's another one of those shows. It's one of the last 10 ever shows to get traditional cell animation, and it looks absolutely incredible the whole way through. Okay, next up we have the Skull Man, the complete collection with the bloodiest of bloody covers. Look at that, holy crap. This is kind of a spin-off to Cyborg 009, where it's telling you the origin of one of the major villains for that franchise, or at least an alternate origin of how he came to be corrupted. You could almost think episode 1 of Star Wars, or at least, I guess, the whole original prequel trilogy. Yeah, story of Anakin into Darth Vader. This is basically the story of whatever this dude's original name is into Skull Man. And, yeah, it's interesting. I liked it. Excuse me. I liked it, but there's nothing overly amazing about it. It was fine. Okay, moving on, we have the Korean Blu Ray release for Tikon Kinkreet. I picked this up off of eBay on the cheap because I really love this film. I don't know. It was one of the earlier anime films that I watched, and obviously it's got like a French director. Like, there's a lot of French design and influence into it, but it is an anime film made in Japan and stuff. And yeah, I really, really liked it. It's a cool film. And yeah, as I said, this is the Korean release that had English subtitles. I also have the UK release in there that has like the extras included and stuff that weren't on the Korean release. So, but yeah, I bought this because it was really cheap and had this really nice packaging, which I'd always really liked. So yeah, I need to clear my throat and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, next up we have Tiger and Bunny. This is Season 1, Volume 1, and Season 2, Volume 2. And then we've also got the first movie. I've been meaning to get the frickin' second movie for a billion years. I'm going to make sure I get it before the end of the year, because I still not watched this movie, because it's basically a recap of the TV series, or at least the very end of the TV series. And then the second movie is basically an ending to the cliffhanger of the actual TV series. So yeah, I've been meaning to frickin' do that for a long, long time, and actually essentially properly finish the show, because it's kind of cool. This series is basically the closest thing you're ever going to get in anime form, or at least one of the closest you're ever going to get in anime form to a Marvel/DC type experience. This is like very similar to those sort of properties. This obviously has its anime Japanese flair, but to me this is very close to Marvel DC type action. It's really, really good. It's a wonderful series. Maybe a slightly overrated. I know in Japan this show is hugely popular, and I'm not. Yeah, I liked it, but I still don't think it's like the greatest thing ever. But I did like it a lot. So yeah, Tiger and Bunny. There's actually a spin-off series coming out next season called Double Decker and Drill or something, which is about a couple of other characters in the universe. And again, like I said, I still need to get that freaking second movie. Anyway, next up we have one of the other Tatsunoko production Sentai releases. This is Time Boken Royal Revival. This is basically a Tatsunoko anniversary like celebration OVA that came out in the early 90s. It has like Gatchaman and Kashan and Tekkaman, or Tekkaman Knight. I can't remember what his name is. And then we've also got many of the Time Boken type characters, also Hurricane Polymar there. Yeah, so it's basically a giant crossover anniversary celebration with just all the classic Tatsunoko characters in it. It's fun. It's just a comedy thing. The Blu Ray is really, really nice. And again, it's only 2 episodes, but yeah, it's fun. I enjoy it. Okay, next to that we have, this is actually also very similar to Marvel DC stuff. This is a Tawana no Kwan. God, freaking throat, I hate it. So yeah, this is basically X-Men. Like, it's 6 films, each one's like 50 minutes long, but it's basically the story of X-Men, done by Studio Bones. And again, story of X-Men with a Japanese anime flair. It's cool. I liked it quite a bit. I'd recommend it. It's such a shame my voice is going right at the end, because we're so close to the freaking end. It's really annoying that this is happening right now. Anyway, so I guess we'll just rush through these last few. Next up we have Wizard Barristers. This is a magical girl series, technically, I guess, in some regard. All these magical characters, if that made any sense. Yeah, it's about these barristers that basically have to take these criminals, track them down, to take them to court and stuff, and things like that. Yeah, but they're wizards, and I've still not watched it. This is directed and character designed, as you can probably tell, by Yasumi Umetsu, the guy behind Kite and one of my favourite things ever. I've freaking forgotten the name. It does short in Robot Carnival. I've forgotten what the freaking name of it is right now. It begins with P. Anyway, I've not watched Wizard Barristers yet. So, anyway, next up we got one of the Almost Bones Mecha series. I have put it in this section, which is probably where it belongs, but I would still, I'd always put this in the same group as like Bones, Studio Bones, mecha type series. This is Zammed Lost Memories. It's super cool. This is very much like a Razafon type experience. Yeah, basically this main character here ends up being able to morph into like this alien type being. There's like lots of military stuff and fantasy stuff. It's kind of like a blend of like Razafon, Erica 7, Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind and stuff, and probably something else as well that I'm forgetting right now. But yeah, it's a wonderful series. I really, really enjoyed it. Fully dubbed into English. I wish my voice wasn't dead so I could give you a much better description of it right now. But I've talked about it before on this channel. It's a wonderful, wonderful show. So, recommended. And then we got a show which is basically Kamen Rider. Kinda. I've only seen a little bit of Kamen Rider, and I know a lot of them are like kiddie-ish, I guess, or like some of them are. But I don't know. This is very much a very traditional Tokusatsu type, Superpower type, Super Sentai type series. This is Zetman, the complete series. Yeah, I liked it. It's kind of cool. I like the suits designs and stuff. And again, it's just a very traditional like Superpower type show. I think there's a betrayal between the 2 main characters that goes on. It's sort of like a bit of revenge and stuff. And yeah, as you can see, it says uncut. It can get quite gory, I seem to recall, in places. So yeah, Zetman, the complete series, and that completes. That completes the Superpower, Super Sentai, Tokusatsu type shows, comic book heroes type shows. Yeah, so yeah, that's that. Next up we have, or we'll be moving on to eventually, certainly not today because my voice is dead, the Ladyverse, and then we've also got the ridiculous section that is my seinen action, crime and gun shows, which is like an absolute crapola amount. So I'm probably going to have to divide these into 4 parts because there's so much stuff to get through. I would be talking until my voice literally died. So yeah, we'll worry about that another day. So I'm Blaze, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.